I hope Anthony Weiner never resigns. I hope Weiner is never forced to resign. I hope Pelosi does not make a full-pitched effort here at the Ethics Committee. I'm hoping that that's just for public consumption. I don't want this guy to go away. This guy, Anthony Weiner, Tony Weiner, hey, look at what they're asking us to believe. Here you have the classic dictionary definition of a nerd, the classic dictionary definition of a pencil-necked geek. And they are telling us that this guy walked into a bar, or would walk into a bar, and women would fall all over themselves to be near the guy. This guy was Playboy numero uno. He was a womanizer par excellence. This guy, he's such a woman, such a ladies' man. They had to do all of his womanizing anonymously, sexting. You know, phone sex, at least there's a voice on the other end. This, texting, this is just, well, it's absurd. This is not what real, you never catch Hugh Hefner doing this. Hugh Hefner put his pajamas on, have him over to the mansion, and go at it for real. Hugh Hefner wouldn't show him a picture, he'd show him the real thing. They're trying to tell us that Weiner's some kind of playboy, some kind of God's gift to women. Sorry, I'm not buying it at all. This guy is the poster boy. Remember during, I think it was the Republican convention in Houston in '92 when Woody Allen ditched Mia and went with the adopted daughter. And we were all saying, that's the guy. That's the face of Democrat family values. Woody Allen. Well, now it's Weiner. Weiner is the face of Democrat family values. He is the epitome of a Democrat culture of corruption, the Democrat culture of erection. He is wrong on policy. He is an admitted liar. He used his orifice in Congress to conduct his lurid e-perversions. The guy's got it all. And I wholeheartedly endorse the fact that he is not going to resign. He and his wife have been married less than a year. He said they've been through a lot together. In less than a year. Tony Weiner is the Democrat Party, writ small. We want Weiner to stand firm here and not quit. I do anyway. I'm just speaking for myself. I do. I want him to hang in there and be tough. Because he's a perfect poster boy. I mean, look at the guy who married him, Bill Clinton. Hey, I never had sex with that woman, not a single time. And I never asked anybody to lie, ever. Weiner hasn't learned a whole lot. Well, I don't know how hard it is for Weiner to stand up to all this or not. I really don't know. Now, I don't know how long. I'm surprised this is still on his website. I kid you not. It has not been scrubbed. There is at weiner.house.gov/issue display, blah, blah, blah. Tough on crime. Anthony Weiner protecting children on the Internet. In early 2007, my office did a study that found over 85% of registered sex offenders in New York City live less than 5 blocks from schools. 670 sex offenders live within just 2 blocks. Some offenders are even closer, permanently residing less than 500 feet away from unwitting parents, educators, and children. Along with several colleagues in Congress, we introduced and passed the Kids Keeping the Internet Devoid of Sexual Predators Act of 2007. I kid you not, Weiner was a co-sponsor. And it's still on his website. Keeping the Internet Devoid of Sexual Predators Act of 2007. He's a co-sponsor, he's a co-author. The Keeping the Internet Devoid of Sexual Predators Act of 2007 requires sex offenders to register their email and instant message addresses with the National Sex Offender Registry. The Kids Act implemented this is Weiner on his website. The Kids Act implemented one of my 6 recommendations to keep a closer eye on sex offenders, both near school grounds and online. I also, wrote Weiner, proposed stricter GPS tracking of sex offenders, tougher enforcement of registration laws, and more public disclosure of sex offender data. Sadly, the Internet is the predator's venue of choice today. They haven't scrubbed it. I checked just this morning before the program started. It was still up there. Anthony Weiner, protector of the Internet, also did this. While everybody's focused on the culture of erection here, you ever looked at this guy's voting record? Folks, I mean, there ain't enough time to go through all of them. But anybody who cares about this country would have to think that Weiner, policy-wise, is despicable. You look through this voting record here, the reason this country's on the ropes is due to the way Anthony Weiner and his fellow liberals vote, not how he texts. He voted no on restricting interstate transport of minors to get abortions, April 2005. He voted no on banning partial birth abortion except to save the mother's life, October 2003. He voted yes on $192 billion additional stimulus spending, voted yes on an additional $825 billion economic recovery package, January 2009, voted yes. $15 billion bailout, General Motors and Chrysler, voted no on constitutionally defining marriage as one man, one woman, voted no on protecting the Pledge of Allegiance, rated 30% by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, indicating an anti-business voting record, voted no on military border patrols to battle drugs and terrorism, voted yes on allowing the courts to decide on God in Pledge of Allegiance, voted no on allowing school prayer during the war on terror, voted yes on enforcing limits of carbon dioxide, global warming pollution. It's a 110% perfect liberal voting record. This guy is the epitome of why this country's economy is in the trouble it's in. It's why the country is in the trouble it's in. Tony Weiner voted yes on $2 billion more for the Cash for Clunkers program. Voted yes on starting implementation of Kyoto Protocol, establishing greenhouse gas tradable allowances, cap and trade, all that. That's just the first half of one page. It goes on and on and on. And to show you how pathetic this all is, Wall Street Journal speakeasy blog, Alexandra Cheney, nothing against her, but to show you where our culture is, 7 ways to avoid being a wiener on the web. How stupid must we be if they've got to publish 7 things for us to remember so that we don't end up being a wiener? You want to hear what some of them are? Don't post private material. Really? We need somebody in a newspaper blog to tell us this. Don't change your personality online. Although it's a different vehicle of communication, it should not be a different personality. Don't say things online you wouldn't say in person. Maintain your standards on the web. Don't email things you wouldn't hand deliver. Be ready for online attacks and avoid mixing alcohol and social media. Don't drink and tweet, in other words. I kid you not. These are so obvious. This is like, what do you mean the first one's not obvious? Don't post private material? Look, I know I know we have people who want to vomit everything about themselves because they want fame and this kind of, but this is one of these common sense things. These 7 items are no different than having a news reporter for your local TV station go standing out in a blizzard saying, stay inside. This is not common sense anymore. We're in trouble. That's why I don't want Weiner to quit.